My life was a series of bad decisions, but I never expected the real hell to begin in a warehouse. I spent my days documenting inventory, wondering where it all went wrong. Every click of my pen felt like a countdown to a future that was never coming. I was basically a human babysitter for a bunch of high-tech robots. They were efficient, cold, and completely mechanical, just like my life had become. I watched PAX, the AI unit, handle packages with a precision I could only dream of. It was soul-crushing work, surrounded by machines that didn't need to breathe or sleep. But in this economy, you take what you can get, even if it means taking orders from a processor. The facility was massive, a labyrinth of steel and automation. The temperature was kept low for the hardware, leaving me shivering in a place that felt more like a tomb than a workplace. Everywhere I looked, drones and bots were the only signs of movement. I realized too late that taking this job was a massive mistake. 2 months ago, I was a fresh military discharge, full of hope and looking for a clean start. I thought I was walking into freedom, but that feeling didn't even last a full minute. Right as I got out, my parents dropped a bombshell. They were moving, and I was on my own. They left me with a small studio and enough rent for 6 months. I had interest building in my savings, so I wasn't desperate yet.
I had these far-fetched dreams of becoming a barista and finding romance over an espresso machine. But reality is a brutal wake-up call. Every cafe wanted experience. I could handle a rifle, but apparently I couldn't be trusted with a cash register. A month of rejections later, the boredom started to rot my brain. I was venting to my sisters, calling myself a useless hobo while they just laughed at me. They didn't have much sympathy. One of them even told me to come join her at the gym if I had nothing better to do. Then a random suggestion popped up about a shipping company using AI. It sounded chill. It sounded like easy money. That's how I ended up at the PAX Fulfillment Center. The place was freezing, and the isolation was starting to get to me. I didn't expect my only coworkers to be machines that followed strict protocols. Then there was Mr. Shin, the human manager who was somehow less likable than the robots. He was obsessed with inventory discrepancies, especially some missing canned tuna. He sent me to the deep storeroom to find it, clearly just wanting me out of his sight. I put on a smile, but I was cursing the old bastard under my breath the whole way. The door to the storage room creaked open, revealing a dark, cramped space. I stepped inside, just wanting to find the cans and get back to my phone.
It was packed floor to ceiling with boxes that shouldn't even be in this section. I found the tuna, buried where it didn't belong, just like Mr. Shin's competence. I climbed the ladder, reaching for the heavy box. Suddenly, a sound cut through the silence, a heavy, metallic thud. The door slammed shut with a finality that made my heart drop. I rattled the handle, locked, from the outside. I checked my phone, panic starting to set in. This wasn't funny. I tried calling Mr. Shin, but the call wouldn't go through. Dead silence on the other end. I debated calling 911, but I didn't want to make things awkward with the boss if it was just a glitch. I decided to wait. Surely someone would notice I was missing. I messaged my sister, joking that I was in an escape room. She didn't find it funny. Then her next text stopped my heart. She heard a building collapse right outside. She tried to call me, her name flashing on the screen like a lifeline. The call connected for a split second before the signal vanished completely. Silence. Then the sound of the network dying. I was yelling at the door, thinking it was a prank, until the floor began to shake.
Red emergency lights flared to life, casting an eerie glow over the warehouse. A massive rumble shook the entire facility. This wasn't a glitch. This was a disaster. The PA system screamed for evacuation, but I was trapped behind a heavy steel door. I realized then that no one was coming for me. The world was ending, and I was in a box. I hammered on the door until my knuckles bled, screaming for help that would never arrive. I checked my phone one last time. Battery at 1%. No signal. No hope. The power cut out completely. I was left in total, suffocating darkness. I started losing track of time. Was it day? Night? All I had was the silence. I stared into the void, my mind beginning to unravel. The sounds from outside were terrifying: crashes, screams, and things that didn't sound human. I stayed as still as possible, my instincts telling me that noise meant death. Whatever was out there, it was hunting. I heard a wet, guttural sound just on the other side of the door. My breath hitched. I curled up on the floor, waiting for the end. 3 days passed. 3 days of living on nothing but the canned tuna I was sent to find. I sat there, eating in the dark, wondering if I was the last person alive.
The alarms had finally stopped. The silence was almost worse than the noise. I pulled out my phone to write a final note, a prayer for my family. I was ready to give up. I was ready for it to be over. But the world wasn't done with me yet. I stared at the ceiling, waiting for the air to run out. Then, a chime, a familiar digital ding that didn't belong in this tomb. A blue holographic window materialized in front of my eyes. You have been chosen. It told me to check my awakened ability. I thought I was finally losing it. My parallel dimension, level 1. It said I could store any object in sight. I started laughing. A storage ability? I was already trapped in a giant storage unit. I decided to play along with my hallucination. Fine, I thought. Store the PAX fulfillment center. The system asked for confirmation. Target chosen. Proceed with storage? I whispered, yeah, and the world suddenly inverted. A violent force threw me backward, the walls of the storeroom dissolving into light. I hit the ground hard, gasping for air that finally felt fresh. I scrambled up, blinded by the sudden sunlight. I wasn't in the warehouse anymore. I was outside, but the world I knew was gone. Total devastation. Buildings were leveled, and the sky was a bruised, apocalyptic orange. I saw bodies. I saw ruins. The reality of the collapse was worse than anything I had imagined. A wave of nausea hit me. The transfer had taken a toll on my body. I collapsed, retching on the dust-filled ground as the system updated. It was installing an operating system. My body was becoming the host for something beyond human. I tried to clear my head, but the dizziness was overwhelming. Then I froze. A shadow stretched across the rubble, growing larger by the second. Something was looming over me, something massive. A low, guttural growl vibrated through the air. It was the same sound I heard through the door. I looked up and saw a nightmare made flesh, a massive, blood-stained orc. I told myself to stay calm, to use my military training, but my legs felt like lead. This wasn't a bear or a gorilla. This was a monster from a story, and it was going to kill me. Its foot was the size of my torso, covered in grime and old blood. I didn't wait for it to move. I turned and bolted, screaming for help that still wasn't coming. The creature let out a deafening roar that shook the very foundations of the ruins. It was fast. Impossible for something that size to move with such predatory speed. It stepped on a corpse like it was nothing but a blood-filled balloon. I was huffing, my lungs burning, desperate to find some kind of cover. It was gaining on me. I could feel the vibrations of its footsteps through the asphalt. Then, the system chimed again. Sync complete. You may now enter the parallel dimension. The orc lunged, its massive jaws open, ready to tear me apart. A prompt appeared. Enter. I didn't just say yes, I screamed it. Hell yes! The creature's fist swung through the air where my head had been a second ago. I thought I was too late, but the light engulfed me just in time. The world blurred into a vortex of blue energy and static. I braced for impact, shielding my eyes from the blinding flash. I opened my eyes, expecting to feel teeth, but I felt cold air instead. The orc was still there, but it was pressing against an invisible wall, howling in rage. It couldn't reach me. It was like I was behind unbreakable glass. A drone whirred past my head. I looked around, my jaw dropping. I was back in the PAX fulfillment center. The entire warehouse was here. The system confirmed it. I had entered my parallel dimension.
I watched the monster outside, realizing the warehouse I had stored was now my own personal fortress. The world was an apocalypse, but I was the master of this space. I had a warehouse full of supplies and a monster-proof shield. Maybe I could survive this after all.
The low hum of drones is the only sound in this massive silence. It's overwhelming. The PAX Fulfillment Center, a warehouse in a parallel dimension, and now it's all mine. A system notification pings. I've entered the dimension for the first time. Tutorial reward, 1 mana stone. It pulses with a strange blue energy. This small gem is more than just a reward. It's the lifeblood of this facility. Outside the barrier, the orc is still pounding away, trying to get to me. It's a nightmare made of pure muscle and rage. I have to be absolutely sure it can't cross over. The system confirms it. I'm safe inside, for now. I pull up the terminal. Level 1 facility stats. 300,000 square feet of inventory at my fingertips. Shipping speed is set to the default 40 miles per hour, but there's a catch. Look at the maintenance timer. 2 minutes until the default power supply is depleted.
Survival, apocalypse, systems, hunters, shelters, regression, and power fantasy stories. Pox runs purely on mana stones now. 1 stone can power the entire warehouse for 24 hours. If the power dies, the drones fall, and everything inside becomes useless, including the refrigeration system. Packs fresh. Thousands of tons of meat, vegetables, and ready-to-eat meals. In an apocalypse, food is the ultimate currency. It's the difference between life and death. Without electricity, this warehouse becomes a graveyard of rotting food. I ask Pox how to get more stones. The answer is straightforward. Harvest them from infernal beings. The monster outside isn't just a threat, it's my battery. It's time to hunt. I open the catalog to find a weapon. Everything from household goods to professional hardware.
I need something with reach. Camping axes. They're heavy enough to bite. Cheap tools, but they're all I've got to work with. Close quarters combat is suicide against that thing. I'll have to rely on my aim. I line up the shot through the portal. I was a black beret. I know how to hit a target under pressure. I hurl the axe with everything I've got. Direct hit. It bites into the orc's shoulder, drawing dark blood. It bellows in rage, but it's still standing. Those muscles are like iron. Wounding it isn't enough. I need a more efficient way to finish this. I look back at the box of tools. Wait, something is different. Should I throw something heavier, like a bowling ball? The system tells me there are 15 axes left in stock.
But I already threw 1. It should be 14. I look at the floor and the bins. They're duplicating right in front of me. The system converts digital data into physical matter. That means the inventory is infinite. Items can be used or lost, but the stock never depletes. I have an endless armory. This changes the entire dynamic of the apocalypse, and I don't even have to throw them manually anymore. I have the shipping skill. I can automatically ship items out of the dimension. 30-second cooldown. I just need to visualize the target. I focus on the orc. Ship it. The axe fires out at 40 miles per hour. The impact is devastating. The orc drops instantly. Dead. 1 kill. My first mana stone is secured. But 40 miles per hour is just the baseline. I can modify the shipping speed. If I power up the skill with more stones, I can make it even more lethal. The system confirms it. The potential for growth is limitless. But I can't hide in this warehouse forever. There are people out there I need to reach. I need to gear up for the world outside. I search the catalog for professional tactical equipment, lightweight battle boots and tactical pants, camouflage. Proper gear is the foundation of survival in a war zone. I'm leaving the civilian version of myself behind. I'm a survivor now. I slam a map of Seoul onto the floor. Time to plan my extraction route.
Starting from Gumpo, I'll have to cut through the most dangerous districts.
Gangnam and Jung are going to be crawls. Then up through Dobong. My destination is Uijeongbu. It's too far to travel on foot through monster-infested streets. I hope everyone is still hanging on. I need reliable, silent transportation. An electric road bicycle. No gas required, minimal noise. In this new world, this is better than a supercar. It's fast, agile, and precisely what I need. Just hold on. Jungyeom is coming to save you.
30 minutes back in the real world, and the silence of the ruins is already starting to grate. Navigating Gunpo on a mountain bike is the most tactical choice. It's fast, and more importantly, it's quiet. I've already put down 12 orcs, but the deeper I go into the city, the more frequent the encounters become. Another one. This beast is larger than the others, lunging with a roar that echoes off the hollowed-out buildings. I don't even slow down. I just need to time the transition perfectly. The portal opens right in its path. To the orc, it looks like a shield, but it's actually an exit strategy. It slams into the boundary of the parallel dimension with a sickening thud, its momentum working against it. I was too distracted earlier to really analyze the mechanics, but now the tactical advantage is clear. As I keep using the portal against these monsters, I realize my ability isn't just a place to hide. It's a blade. The very edge of the dimension acts as a microscopic cutting surface. Anything caught in the transition gets severed. No armor can stop a spatial tear. The orc collapses. It never even saw the strike. But my system is already flagging something new. The shipping skill has a 30-second cooldown and a limited range, which makes it tricky to use in a frantic fight. And my aim with it is still garbage. I can't rely on luck when my life is on the line. But there's another side to this power that I'm just starting to master. Recall. Anything I've shipped into my warehouse can be pulled back into reality instantly.
It's the ultimate logistics loop. I don't just store items, I control their location and space. I test it on the fly. The axe I just used to finish the orc vanishes and reappears in my hand. It's just as useful as shipping, if not more so. It cuts out the need to carry heavy gear. But the real payoff is the loot. I don't just recall tools, I can recall mana stones directly from the bodies of the fallen. The system considers anything inside a dead monster as shippable inventory. It's like a video game, but the stakes are visceral. 14 stones. I need to keep moving if I want to get to my family before the sun goes down. Suddenly, a sound cuts through the air that makes the orc's roar sound like a whisper. It's high-pitched, a screech that vibrates in my chest. Something big is circling above. I look up and see a shadow blotting out the moon. That's not an orc, it's a wyvern. It's clutching a water deer in its talons, treating a 100-pound animal like a light snack. With a wingspan that wide, it's a high-tier predator. Taking it down won't be a simple matter of a well-timed portal. But wait, I'm hearing something else over the wind. It's not a monster. A scream for help. A human voice. In this hellscape, that's the rarest sound of all. I turn toward the sound. If there are survivors, they won't last 10 seconds against that thing. There, a man is sprinting through the rubble, his breath coming in ragged, desperate gasps.
He's cornered. The wyvern is playing with him, circling low, enjoying the hunt. The man flinches as the beast dives. He knows he's dead. He just doesn't know when. The wyvern screeches again, a sound of pure dominance. It's faster than anything I've seen on the ground. It lashes out with its tail, a whip crack of bone and scale that sends the man tumbling. He hits the pavement hard. He's done. He can't even get back to his feet. His companion tries to run toward him, but he's just as terrified. They're both easy prey. The wyvern lands, its massive weight cracking the concrete. It's focused entirely on the wounded man. It's the predator's instinct. Target the small, target the weak. It doesn't even see me as a threat. The man stares into the beast's glowing eyes, frozen by a fear so deep it's paralyzing. It opens its maw, drool dripping onto the man's face. This is it, the end of the line for him. I can't just watch. If I want to survive this world, I need allies, or at least information. I need to divert its attention. I don't have a rifle, but I have momentum.
I grip the handlebars and pedal. I need one perfect opening. The wyvern is about to strike. Its neck muscles coil, ready to snap the man in half. I reach for the axe in my warehouse. I don't have time for a portal trap. I have to throw it. A tiny knife or a blunt tool won't work. It has to be a killing blow.
The man looks up, sensing a change in the air. He sees me, a lone figure on a bike. I ring the bell. A sharp mechanical ring that slices through the wyvern's focus. The beast turns, confused by the sound. It's just long enough. I put everything into the throw. The axe spins through the air, a blur of silver and death. It connects, right between the eyes. The sound of steel meeting bone is the most beautiful thing I've heard all day. The wyvern's head snaps back, the light leaving its eyes instantly. It collapses like a mountain of dead weight, its wings twitching one last time before going still. The survivors just stare. They've seen monsters, but they haven't seen them die like this. A one-shot kill on a wyvern. Even I'm a little surprised by how clean it was. I roll up to the body, the bicycle light flickering against the beast's scales. I retrieve my axe. The man on the ground is still trembling, unable to process that he's alive. I take a breath. Is everyone okay? I ask, my voice sounding strange in the sudden quiet. They look at me like I'm a ghost. A guy on a bike just took down a dragon. The wounded man, Mr. Choi, struggles to his feet, his eyes wide with disbelief. They think I'm a soldier. In this world, anyone who can fight is assumed to be military. Did he really just... With an axe? The other one whispers. The shock is written all over their faces.
I don't look like a soldier, but I don't look like a victim either. I look like a variable. They start bowing, thanking me for saving their lives. It's a level of gratitude that feels heavy. I point to the logo on my shirt. I'm not a soldier. I worked at the PAX warehouse. They don't care. To them, the uniform doesn't matter, only the result. You have a special ability, Choi says, his voice full of awe. I don't confirm or deny it. They mention a refuge, a basement terminal where 15 others are hiding. They were out looking for essentials and a drivable road. That catches my attention. Most of the people from the nearby warehouse are dead. The monsters were too many, too fast. But these 15 managed to secure a basement. It's safe for now. I need information. If they have a working car, my search for my family gets a lot easier. I agree to go with them. I don't trust them yet, but I need their intel. They're taking a risk bringing a stranger back, but they're desperate. I can work with desperation. Choi leads the way, his limp heavy, but his spirit buoyed by my presence. I glance back at the wyvern, a waste of a good carcass, but I have what I need. I trigger the recall on the wyvern's mana stone as we walk. It pops out of the skull and into my hand. These guys don't need to know the full extent of my abilities. A little mystery is a good defense.
If things get ugly, I can always slip back into my dimension. They can't follow me there. We reach the basement. The air is thick with the smell of old concrete and fear. A group of survivors is gathered around a man standing over a fresh kill. He doesn't look like the others. His eyes are cold, tactical. He looks like a man who has adapted to the apocalypse a little too well. I get a bad feeling. This isn't just a refuge. This is a kingdom. And I just walked into the throne room.
The terminal is no longer the fortress these survivors thought it was. An orc managed to slip past their defenses, proving that even the most hidden shelters are vulnerable. The manager, Lee, looks shaken. He knows the clock is ticking. The monster is dead, but the sense of security died with it. This place isn't safe anymore. I stay quiet, observing them. They're looking at the corpse, then at me. Word is spreading fast. They saw what I did to that wyvern earlier. I can feel their eyes on me. In this world, strength is the only currency that matters. They're whispering about the axe throw. They think I'm some kind of high-level awakened. I need to keep my cool. If they think I'm a hero, I can use that to my advantage. The murmurs grow louder. To them, I'm a miracle worker who cracks skulls with ease. Someone is approaching. They're moving fast, driven by pure relief. Before I can react, I'm being grabbed. Her hands are trembling, but her grip is firm. She's desperate to show her thanks. She's ecstatic. I saved her colleagues, and she treats it like I've saved her whole world. She won't let go, asking how they can ever repay me for what I've done. I try to play it down, but she's not having it. Humility only makes them trust me more.
The tension breaks for a moment as they start joking around, trying to find some normalcy in the chaos. I step back, trying to maintain some professional distance. The manager, Jin-Mok Lee, steps forward with a grateful smile. He seems like a man who knows how to lead. He bows respectfully. In the apocalypse, a man who can kill monsters is worth more than gold. He offers me a spot in their hideout. They've got food and water, or so they think. Lee is confident. He believes they have a steady supply line from a nearby warehouse. But then, one of his men breaks the news. The look on his face says it all. The warehouse is gone. Not looted, not destroyed, just vanished without a trace. Lee can't believe it. An entire building doesn't just disappear. The shock is turning into panic. Without that warehouse, they have no future here. The workers are losing it. They were counting on those supplies to survive the winter. I watch them spiral. I'm the only one who knows that warehouse is currently sitting in my inventory. The atmosphere is heavy with dread. Their sanctuary just became a prison. Lee tries to rally them. He's pushing for a move through the tunnel, even if it's dangerous. They have to move now. Staying here means starving in the dark. He looks to me for confirmation. He wants to know if I'm with them.
They need cars, but more importantly, they need a path cleared through the monster-infested roads. The highway is broken, and the only viable exit is blocked by a swarm of wyverns. It's a suicide mission for them, but for me, it's an opportunity. Lee offers me a way out, even if I don't want to follow his group. I tell them I need a car anyway, so I'll head to the tunnel first. He's relieved. Having me around makes them feel like they actually have a chance. I have no intention of revealing my true ability to these people yet. They've survived by fighting for every scrap. I've survived by hiding behind a broken system. I need to be cautious. Information is the difference between an ally and a predator. I'll scout the tunnel alone. If I can clear it, I can collect the mana stones for myself. I check my system. The upgrades I saw earlier are still there, waiting to be unlocked. Precision delivery, simultaneous shipping, automatic shipping. These aren't just logistical tools, they're tactical weapons. The costs are steep, but the payoff is game-breaking. I need 10 mana stones for each. I'll kill the wyverns discreetly, harvest their stones, and power up before the group arrives. I just need to keep my true intentions hidden behind this calm facade. But my plan for a solo run hits a snag when Young Soo shows up with a bike.
He's worried about me going alone. He doesn't realize he's just becoming a liability. He trusts me implicitly. That kind of faith is dangerous in a world like this. He's insistent. He wants to help, even if he's scared out of his mind. I guess I'm taking a passenger. This is going to be a long ride. We move out into the ruins of the city under a cold moonlight. The bike hums as we navigate the wreckage of the old world. I'm scanning every shadow. The silence is too loud. Suddenly, Young Soo starts performing some insane acrobatics on the bike. He's standing on the pedals, trying to get a better view of the road ahead. The guy is reckless, but he's right. We need to see what's coming before it sees us. Then he spots it. The first threat is already upon us. A wyvern is circling. I tell him to keep going, but he's already panicking. The road is a maze of stalled cars and debris, making it impossible to pick up real speed. It's right there, looming over the wreckage with glowing red eyes. I yell at him to keep his eyes on the road. We can't afford to crash now. The beast lunges. We barely dodge the first strike.
We're paddling for our lives, but we're heading straight into the heart of their territory. I prepare to use my ability, but I have to time it perfectly. The tunnel is close, but we're not going to make it at this rate. The bike screeches to a halt. We're trapped. Young-soo freezes. He can see what I see now. Shadows are closing in from all sides. We're surrounded. He's trembling, realizing that his hero might not be enough to save him this time. There are too many of them. The pack has found its prey. One of the wyverns steps forward, letting out a piercing screech that echoes through the ruins. Young-soo thinks it's all over. He's given up. The monster bares its teeth, dripping with hunger. He asks if this is where it all ends. He's looking for a miracle. I can't hide it anymore. If I want to live, I have to use the system. I spend the mana stones, 10 to unlock the skill, 5 to reset the cooldown. I tap the interface, ignoring Young-soo's confused stare. The wyvern lunges, sensing the kill.
It's midair, jaws open, ready to tear us apart. Young-soo screams, closing his eyes for the final blow. He's waiting for the pain, but it never comes. A blinding light flashes as my skill activates. The impact of the delivery is massive, sending a shockwave through the street. He peeks through his fingers, unable to comprehend what just happened. The look of pure shock on his face is almost worth the reveal. A portal has opened, and my drones are already in the air. The real fight starts now.
Surviving the end of the world isn't about luck. It's about resource management. I have a warehouse that shouldn't exist and a system that rewards efficiency. Every mana stone I burn buys me time, shaving precious seconds off my ability cooldowns. In a world this lethal, 5 seconds is the difference between life and death. I keep feeding the system. The stones are a currency for survival, and I'm spending them to ensure my next move is ready when I need it most. I've hit the limit for now. To push this further, I'll need to level up the parallel dimension itself. For now, 5 seconds is all the leeway I get. The drone is my eye in the sky, scouting the terrain before we commit to the move. Information is just as vital as ammunition. We're standing at the threshold of the portal. The warehouse is a sanctuary, but we can't stay hidden forever if we want to reach our families. The mana stone shatters, its energy fueling the system. It's a clean, cold process. I tell Young-soo to stay close. My protection only extends as far as my reach, and out here, the shadows have teeth. He's hesitant, but he knows I'm his only shot. He's seen enough to know that logic beats fear every time. The air shifts. Something is closing in, and it's moving fast. The calm was never going to last. A wyvern. These things are apex predators in this new reality. It lunges with a screech that would paralyze most men. But the system is faster. My axe connects with a sickening crunch, meeting the beast mid-air with calculated precision. More of them are skidding across the asphalt. It's not a lone hunter, it's a pack. We're being surrounded. Their red eyes burn with a hunger that doesn't care about my warehouse or my plans. To them, we're just meat. They charge. This is the moment where the training and the system mechanics have to hold up under pressure. Young-soo flinches as the wind from their wings hits us. He's out of his depth, but I can't let that distract me.
The shield flares to life, catching the impact of a wyvern's jaw. It's a solid barrier between us and a very violent end. The beast's teeth scrape against the energy field, unable to break through. It's frustrated, and frustration leads to mistakes. I knock it back. The thump of its body hitting the ground buys me a second to reassess the pack's movement. Another one circles overhead, looking for an opening. I keep my axe ready, my grip tightening as I track its flight path. I don't just react, I anticipate. My hand goes out, calling for the next delivery from the system. The beast dives, thinking it has the advantage of speed. It's wrong. The sheer aggression of these creatures is their downfall. They don't understand the tactical advantage I hold. Young-soo screams out my name, his panic rising as the monsters close the gap. But the axe is already there, a blur of motion that intercepts the threat before it can even touch us. The crash of metal against scale echoes through the empty street. It's a brutal, efficient exchange. The wyvern's golden eye reflects the light of my portal. It's seeing something it can't dominate. A heavy thwack sends the creature tumbling. I'm not just defending,
I'm asserting control over the battlefield. Young-soo watches, stunned. He's seeing the blood drip and the monsters fall, and he realizes I'm not just another survivor. His eyes are wide, taking in the scale of what just happened. The power dynamic has shifted permanently. I step forward, my boots crunching on the debris. I don't need his praise. I need his cooperation. I turn to look at him. He's still on the ground, processing the fact that I just took down a pack of monsters single-handedly.
I stand before the portal, silhouetted by its light. To him, I must look like a monster myself. He thinks this is easy for me, a walk in the park. He doesn't see the mental strain or the careful calculation behind every move. He knows why we need vehicles, to transport supplies safely through these infested zones. But he realizes my situation is different. I don't need a car to hide in. I need it purely for the distance. I can see the envy in his gaze. He thinks if he had my ability, he could reach his family in no time. Another screech breaks the silence, but this time it's more distant. The Wyverns are reconsidering their odds. They're running away. Even monsters have survival instincts, and they've decided I'm not worth the cost. Young-soo glances at me, surprised. "They're smarter than they look," he says. Or maybe they just recognize a superior predator. He notices a mana stone on the ground. Its blue glow is a beacon of potential in the dark. I explain that I use these stones to power my abilities. It's a simple truth, but it opens a whole new world of questions for him. He's amazed that abilities can get stronger. Most people are just trying to hold on to what they have. I'm looking to evolve. I keep my expression neutral. Revealing too much is a liability. I need to maintain an edge of mystery. He laughs, suggesting I could clear the whole tunnel by myself. He has no idea how close to the truth he is. I give him a sideways glance. I was planning to take a look and clear it solo anyway, without drawing an audience. He looks blank, realization slowly dawning on him. I didn't want anyone to see what I could really do. Showing my full hand wasn't part of the plan. But circumstances change, and now I have a witness. He bows, apologizing for getting in the way. At least he understands his role now. I tell him it's fine. I didn't know the way, so his knowledge of the route is the only reason I brought him along. I start to walk away. The Wyverns are gone for now, but they'll be back. We need to move while the path is clear. He asks where I'm trying to go. I tell him the truth, where my family is. Gangnam first, then Uijeongbu. He gasps at the mention of Gangnam. It's a long trek through some of the most monster-dense territory left in the city. He needs to go as far as Indukwan, which is on my way. He's looking for a reason for us to stick together. He asks if he can come with me. He's desperate, and desperation can be useful if handled correctly. I look at him, weighing the pros and cons. He knows he can't get home safely on his own, and he knows I'm his best bet. He admits his only real skill is driving. In this world, that's a specialized talent that I can actually use. He can drive anything, but he can't fight the monsters. It's a fair trade. His hands on the wheel, my axe on the front line. He promises not to get in my way, and even offers to find food. He's selling himself hard, trying to prove his worth. If we're headed in the same direction, his driving could get us there faster than anyone else. It's a logical partnership. It's a strategic opportunity. I can use him to keep the others from digging too deep into my true abilities. If the rest of the survivors learn what I can do, they might get ideas. Greed is a monster just as dangerous as a wyvern. I need to keep my secrets to avoid wasting time with unnecessary power struggles. Besides, I can trust Young-soo. He's seen the danger, and he knows he owes me his life.
He followed me here, even after a close call with a wyvern. That kind of loyalty is hard to come by. I agree to take him to Indukwan. The look of relief on his face is almost pathetic, but it cements the deal. He's incredibly grateful. He knows he just secured his ticket out of this nightmare. But I have one condition. I clear the tunnel on my own. I don't want any interference. I tell him the others will only get in the way. It's the truth, but it's also a way to maintain my privacy. I need him to talk to the rest of the group and convince them to let me handle this task solo. He taps his chest confidently. He's more than happy to play the middleman if it means we get moving.
He's sure they'll cooperate once he explains the situation. He's a good talker, I'll give him that. He addresses the crowd, his voice booming with a false confidence that masks the fear we all feel. He tells them we can all get through the tunnel. It's a bold claim, and it catches everyone's attention. He explains that I'll be clearing it with my awakened ability. He's laying it on thick, making it sound more mystical than it is. He tells them not to be curious about how I do it, just that I can do it. It's a clumsy way to keep a secret. I stare at him, stunned. He's telling everyone about the secret instead of just keeping it. This is exactly what I wanted to avoid. The crowd starts to murmur. They're skeptical, and rightfully so. One man clearing a tunnel that's been blocked for weeks sounds like a fantasy. They want to know how I'm going to do it. The questions are starting, and I can feel the eyes of the group leader on me. Young-soo just grins, oblivious to the fact that he's making me look more suspicious by the second.
I'm screwed. Their leader, Mr. Lee, is a dangerous man. I can see him calculating, trying to figure out my angle. But there's no use crying over spilled milk. I have to commit to the plan now, regardless of the unwanted attention. I announce that I'll clear the tunnel tomorrow morning. I keep my voice steady, projecting a confidence I hope they buy. I know they don't fully trust me, but they're desperate for a way out. I have to try, for my own sake as much as theirs. They're mostly worried about the food supply. If the tunnel stays blocked, they'll starve. That's the leverage I need. If I can clear it quickly, their worry will turn into gratitude. At least, that's the goal. Mr. Lee steps forward. He says he won't ask about my ability or even be curious. He's playing it cool, but I don't buy it for a second. He claims he's sure I'm doing this for their sake. It's a political move, trying to bind me to the group's interests. He says if it's better for me to work alone, they'll stay out of the way. It's the cooperation I asked for, but it comes with strings attached. One of his men brings out a box of supplies, canned goods, bottled water, the currency of the apocalypse. They want me to take some of the food they've saved up. It's a peace offering, a way to ensure I feel obligated to help them. I'm caught off guard. I risked my life to scout the tunnel, and this is their way of saying thank you. It's surprisingly human. They're going so far as to clear their own rations for me. I realize that to them, I'm a hero, whether I want to be or not. They bow in unison. It's a heavy gesture, full of a hope that I'm not sure I'm ready to carry. I try to protest, telling them I just did what I had to do. I don't want their gratitude to become a burden. But they insist. They've saved this food for their families, and now they're giving it to me. It's a sacrifice I can't ignore.
Young-soo taps me on the shoulder. Just accept it, he says. If I turn it down, I'll just seem cold and untrustworthy. He reminds me that I have a family too. He knows that's the one thing that will get through to me. My family. The reason I'm doing any of this. The reason I'm standing in a dark tunnel with a group of strangers. I see a flash of a memory. Smiling faces, a world that wasn't broken. It's a sharp reminder of what's at stake. If the tunnel is getting cleared tomorrow, it's time to celebrate, or at least to pretend things are normal for a few minutes. Mr. Lee decides it's time to bring out that. The mood in the room shifts from tension to a strange, desperate excitement. The booze. In a world without clean water or electricity, alcohol is a luxury that can make you forget the monsters for a while. They don't have much, but it's enough. We'll drink moderately, then head out to our families tomorrow. It's a promise we all want to believe. Cheers to a safe trip home. Cheers to the safety of our families. The words echo through the garage, a collective prayer for survival. And finally, cheers to me. I'm the one they're pinning all their hopes on. I just hope I don't let them down. The next morning, the sky is clear. It's a beautiful day for a suicide mission. I check my gear one last time. I tell them not to worry and to just wait here. I need to do this alone, away from prying eyes. Young-soo and the others watch as I prepare to leave. They're anxious, but they're sticking to the plan. Mr. Lee gives me a nod. He's still watching, still calculating. I need to be careful when I get back. I mount my bike. It's quiet, efficient, and doesn't require fuel. The perfect tool for a scout. The road ahead is littered with the remains of the old world. It's a grim reminder of how quickly everything fell apart.
I pedal toward the dark mouth of the tunnel. This is where the real work begins.
The shadows are deep, and I can already hear the faint sounds of things moving inside. I'm not alone in there. I take a deep breath, steadying my nerves. The system is ready, and so am I. I look back one last time at the group. They're just small figures now, huddling for warmth and safety. I turn my focus back to the task at hand. No more distractions, no more doubts. The tunnel looms ahead, a black void that could be my grave or our salvation. I pedal faster, the wind whistling past my ears. I'm moving toward the danger, not away from it. The silence is oppressive, broken only by the rhythmic clicking of my bike chain. It's a lonely sound. I reach the entrance and stop for a moment. This is the point of no return. I can see the glint of my axe in the morning light. It's a comforting sight, a piece of the system I can always rely on. The tunnel air is cold and damp, smelling of decay and something much worse. I check my internal interface. Everything is green. The cooldowns are reset, and the mana stones are ready. I know what I have to do. Clear the obstacles, kill the monsters, and open the way. It's a simple mission on paper, but in practice, it'll be a bloodbath. I'm okay with that. I think of my family again. Their faces are the only thing that keeps me moving forward in this hellscape. I start to pedal into the darkness. The light of the outside world fades behind me, replaced by the unknown.
I'm ready for whatever is waiting for me in there. I have to be. The first few meters are uneventful, but I know better than to relax. The real threats are always deeper in. I can hear the scuttling of claws on concrete. They know I'm here. They can smell the life on me. I tighten my grip on the handlebars, my other hand hovering near my weapon. The first strike will be the most important. I'm not just a survivor. I'm a hunter. And this tunnel is my hunting ground. I see a movement in the shadows, a flash of red eyes, a flicker of a tail. It's time. I trigger the first ability, a surge of power flowing through my limbs. The system is responding perfectly. The first wyvern lunges from the darkness, but I'm already moving. My axe is out, a silver arc in the gloom. The impact is solid, the beast falling before it can even make a sound. One down. Many more to go. I don't stop. I keep moving, my bike carving a path through the darkness. I'm a force of nature in this tunnel. The monsters charge from all sides, but the system guides my hand. Every strike is lethal, every movement purposeful. I'm clearing the way, one beast at a time. This is the power of the system, the advantage I have to keep secret. The tunnel is filled with the sounds of battle, the screeches of monsters, the clang of metal, the heavy breathing of a man fighting for his life. I'm pushing through the fear, pushing through the fatigue. I have a mission to complete, and nothing will stop me. I see a light at the far end of the tunnel. It's faint, but it's there. Our salvation is within reach. I redouble my efforts, my axe a blur as I clear the final few obstacles. The end is in sight.
I burst out of the tunnel into the bright morning sun. I've made it. The way is open. I stop my bike and look back at the tunnel. It's a dark, silent passage now, its threats neutralized. I take a moment to catch my breath, the adrenaline slowly subsiding. I've done what I set out to do. I think of the group waiting on the other side. They'll be coming through soon, their hopes realized. I've secured their future, at least for today. But my own journey is far from over. I look toward the horizon, toward Gangnam. My family is out there somewhere, and I'm coming for them. The world is still a nightmare, but I have the tools to survive it. I have the system, and I have my will. I mount my bike again and start to pedal. There's a long road ahead, and I don't intend to waste any time. The sun is high now, casting long shadows across the ruined landscape. It's a beautiful, terrible world. I'm moving forward, 1 mile at a time. Each step brings me closer to the people I love. The monsters are still out there, hiding in the shadows, waiting for their next chance. But I'll be ready. I've proven that I can handle the threats. I've proven that I'm more than just a victim of the apocalypse. I'm a survivor.
I'm a hunter, and I'm going home. The road is empty, but I can feel the presence of the world all around me. It's a heavy, oppressive feeling, but I'm not afraid. I've seen the worst that this world has to offer, and I'm still standing. I pedal into the distance, my figure growing smaller against the vast, ruined backdrop of the city.
I'll be back in no time. That's the promise I made to myself, and it's the only one that matters now.